ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। श्रीभगवानुवाच
श्रीभगवानुवाच
अभयं सत्त्वसंशुद्धिः
अभयं सत्त्वसंशुद्धिः
ज्ञानयोगव्यवस्थितः
ज्ञानयोगव्यवस्थितः
दानं दमश्च यज्ञश्च
दानं दमश्च यज्ञश्च
स्वाध्यायस्तप आर्जवम्
स्वाध्यायस्तप आर्जवम्
अहिंसा सत्यमक्रोधः
अहिंसा सत्यमक्रोधः
त्यागः शान्तिरपैशुनम्
त्यागः शान्तिरपैशुनम्
दया भूतेष्वलोलुप्त्वम्
दया भूतेष्वलोलुप्त्वम्
मार्दवम् ह्रीरचापलम्
मार्दवम् ह्रीरचापलम्
तेजः क्षमा धृतिः शौचम्
तेजः क्षमा धृतिः शौचम्
अद्रोहो नातिमानिता
अद्रोहो नातिमानिता
भवन्ति सम्पदम् दैवीम्
भवन्ति सम्पदं दैवी
अभिजातस्य भारत।
विजातस्य भारत।
Yeah. So we were in shloka number 3. We completed the Daivi Sampat called Shaucham. Shaucham was mentioned in the 13th chapter also. So we reviewed that. Then we have another Daivi Sampat called Adroha. Adroha. So you should ask, what is the difference between Adroha and Ahimsa? Similar, seems similar. So Shankaracharya makes it very clear. He says, a committed act of hurting is called himsa. A committed, already done, that's called himsa. And an act that is pondered about, mental, a desire to hurt, that is called droha. Correct? You follow what I'm saying? A committed act of violence is himsa. A an act that is pondered about, that is still at the stage, at the mind only, is called droha. So all wars are first fought here in the mind before people go to the battlefield. Okay? So this is called adroha. So Shankaracharya says, himsa ichha abhava. Sa ichha abhava. So if you look at what kind of qualifications should our judges have in the judicial system of a country, I think they should have this himsa ichha abhava. Only then you can give the right punishment to the right person. Correct? Only then you will be ready to hear all stories, all sides, and then say, yeah, you had the intention to hurt. Here's why. This is why you did all these things. They have to write a lot. They have to justify their actions. And judges, otherwise we will say that, oh, the judges are killing people in this country. No, judges don't kill people. They pronounce judgments. And so for a judge to be unbiased and guilt-free, that person should have himsa ichha abhava. Can't take sides. He or she cannot take sides. Only purely going by the book. Going by the book, and maybe beyond the book also. A book cannot say everything. And so be able to interpret the situation properly. So that's beautiful, actually. So a person with adroha, a person without any droha, intention to hurt, will be the right person to pronounce judgments. Think about it. Anyway, next one. Na atimanita, natimanita. Similar to amanitva, similar. Atimanita. Manitvam in the 13th chapter. Here, manita, same word. This ta and tvam, the suffix, identical meaning in Sanskrit. What does it do? Panini gives us a meaning, definition of this. Tasya bhavaha tvatalau, like that he says. Means what? You should use the suffix twa, tvam, like Hindutvam. When you want to describe the value of what that word stands for. So tvam. So manitvam is same as manita, right? So atimanita, atyarthamanaha atimana. Too much full of oneself, too much talk about oneself and thinking highly about oneself. I don't know if you noticed, some three people come together. They talk about, they just each went on a vacation. Each of the three friends went on independent vacations. One went to Bali, another went to Singapore, another went to some other place, Europe, Switzerland. And so now all three are excited to talk about their experience, because how can you not talk about going to Switzerland, right? It's foolish. How can you hide that visit from all your friends? That's just unthinkable. So they come. You know how Switzerland was? My God, it's all full of snow. It is summer, but you can see snow. Like this, she's going on and on. The other guy says, we went to Bali. And then he talks about Bali, Bali, Bali. Suddenly, other person feels left out. Europe, you know what? Or whatever. Where did I say? Singapore. Singapore is a great country. We never hear about Singapore in the news. But you all should visit Singapore. Nobody is listening to the other person. Is anybody listening to the other person? Nobody, because the pressure to talk is so much. There's no time to listen to others. You have to listen to me. So, so this Atimanita, what it does is, it prevents us from listening to others. A good psychologist must have the attribute of listening to others. That's the job of a psychologist. And when we are full of ourselves, we don't have time for others. No. Even though somebody is talking, we are not listening. We're not listening. Our mind is not there. So, Shankaracharya uses some other words. Atma Pujyatva Bhavana. Self worshipfulness. exaggerated opinion about oneself. That idea is there. And so that stops us, that prevents us from being a simple human being. Correct? A simple person. Person means just have a normal conversation without bringing all these other things into the picture. And so you can even say humility, vinayaha. Vinayaha. Swami uses the word humility. It's just be not, you know, maybe a great person. I've had friends who, who are great. It means they're highly accomplished people. When you talk to them, you will never know they are accomplished. You think they are some person, average, nice person. That's all you think. That's how it should be. That is not atimanita. And some manita is needed. Some manita is needed for all of us. Why? Otherwise, what will happen? We will, Puja Swamiji says, we will undermine ourselves by criticism and self-criticism. Can't allow yourself to be undermined. Undermined. Uh, anyway, that is na atimanita. So, Krishna concludes by saying, Bhavanti sampadam daivim abhijatasya bharata. Hey Bharata, hey Bharata, Vamsha, Prodbhava, hey Bharata, Bhavanti. Okay, Ete Bhavanti. These are Etani, Daivi, Sampat Bhavanti. These things will be there in a person who is born with Daivi Sampat. Jatasya, Purushasya, in brackets, Purushasya. A person who's born with Daivi Sampat, you will see these attributes. Because Daivi Sampat is just a phrase. One has to explain what that phrase is. So this I've given you an idea of what Daivi Sampat is. And next I'm going to talk about Asuri Sampat. And why should I do this? Hey, because the entire Mahabharata was caused by Asuri Sampat. No Rakshasas, no big teeth and all that, nothing, no horns, nothing. Just a human being, that's all. That one person, two persons, whatever it is, just the entire Mahabharata would not have happened but for that. So that's why I'm going to talk about this. What he's saying. All right. Then Swamiji makes a side note. He says, Vedanta is very easy. It is all these attributes that takes time to develop in ourselves. That's all. So that's an important note. Even in our classes, periodically Swamiji mentions that Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is very important. That the attitudes and values and leading a life, alert life, everything is important. After that, Vedanta is very easy. Easy. Really, it's easy. So we should always ask ourselves, when I didn't follow something, I have to ask myself, am I just offering lip service to Vedanta? Or am I living the life that Krishna is talking about? That's a good challenge for us to have. All right, let's translate this. So we are going to translate three shlokas, right? 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Uh, let's do this. Puja Swamiji's translation. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Sri Bhagavan said, Bharata, Arjuna, okay, first value onwards. Self-confidence, purity of mind, self-confidence, right? Abhayam we translated as self-confidence. So that we make it a little more objective there. Self-confidence, purity of mind, steadiness in contemplation, charity, judicious restraint of sense organs, performing rituals, recitation of one's own branch of the Veda, religious discipline, alignment of thought, word, and deed, second shloka, absence of hurting, truthfulness, resolution of anger. We talked about management of anger. Same thing, resolution of anger, renunciation, resolution of the mind, avoidance of slander. Somebody uses the word calumny. It's a more complicated word. So let's use absence of slander or avoidance of slander. Next, compassion of living beings or compassion for living beings. Absence of ardent longing, gentleness, modesty, absence of physical agitation, brilliance, composure, fortitude, cleanliness, absence of ill will. Ill will means thought of hurting. Absence of ill will and no exaggerated self opinion. hyphen. All these are there for the one who is born with Daivi Sampat. Okay. Sri Bhagavan said, O Bharata Arjuna, self-confidence, purity of mind, steadiness in contemplation, charity, judicious restraint of sense organs, performing rituals, recitation of one's own branch of the Veda, religious discipline or austerity, alignment of thought, word, and deed, absence of hurting, truthfulness, resolution of anger, renunciation, resolution of the mind, absence of slander, compassion for living beings, absence of ardent longing, gentleness, modesty, absence of physical agitation, brilliance, composure, fortitude, cleanliness, no absence of ill will, and no exaggerated self opinion. All these are there for the one who is born with Daivi Sam. Next. दम्भो दर्पोऽभिमानश्च
दम्भो दर्पोऽभिमानश्च
क्रोधः पारुष्यमेव च
क्रोधः पारुष्यमेव च
अज्ञानं चाभिजातस्य
अज्ञानं चाभिजातस्य
पार्थसम्पदमासुरीम्
पार्थसम्पदमासुरीम्
दम्भो दर्पोऽभिमानश्च
दम्भो दर्पोऽभिमानश्च
क्रोधः पारुष्यमेव च
क्रोधः पारुष्यमेव च
अज्ञानं चाभिजातस्य
अज्ञानं चाभिजातस्य
पार्थसम्पदमासुरीम्
पार्थसम्पदमासुरीम्.
Yeah, so now he's shifting gears from Daivi Sampat to Asuri Sampat. He's saying Adhijatasya, same words we saw in the previous shloka. Hey Partha, Abhijadasya Sampadam Asurim. Asurim Sampat. To one who has Asuri Sampat, then you can see some of these qualities. Like that, he's going to give a list of qualities. Okay, so let's see what that is. Asuri Sampat we saw before. Asuraha Asushu Ramante means people who are lost in sense gratification. Asu means sense. Asu in sense objects. That's the meaning. Because there's no end to enjoyment, there's no end to sense gratification. So therefore, one can get lost in that. And so there are people, they are the ones who are called asuras. So you can even say materialistic people. Paramarthanandaji, Swamiji, he uses the word materialist. Materialistic means what? That's what it is. I want more, I want more. I want to enjoy more. That's what it is. And so I think that's a reasonably good translation.
Dil mange more.
Dil mange. Some drink, I think it was long ago. What drink it is?
Pepsi or Coke or something.
Okay, Pepsi. Yeah, I think Pepsi. All right. So, Asuri Sampat. And so he's saying, I'm going to tell you briefly. Okay, briefly. Because he's going to list a bunch of shlokas coming up later. So he's saying this is briefly what Asuri Sampat in contrast to Daivi Sampat. Yeah, because he's going to elaborate later from 7 onwards. 7th shloka onwards, it's a big list coming. Many shlokas. Till 21, it's all Asuri Sampat. Because Arjuna had a guilt, Oh, if I go to war, I'll kill people and I'll make a lot of widows and I'll go to hell and this and that he was talking. So Krishna said, it's time for me to set this right. So, Dambaha, Dambaha. Again, we've seen this word before, Adambhitvam. Okay, Shankaracharya. Swadharma Prakatikaranam. Swadharma Prakatikaranam. Acting as though I have some qualities and then making a ostentatious display of oneself. That is called Dampaha. Okay, it's called exhibiting one's own qualities, ostentation, making a pomp, making a show. Okay, all these are good words to describe this word, Dampaha. And because one is desperate to reject oneself, what will happen? In the process, I will create a few more things that I don't have. Correct? Chuma, you add something. So, kya baat hai? Put a few more things. Avial, you cut some vegetables, you put carrot, beans, everything you carrot. Okay, put potatoes also. What's wrong? Nothing will happen. People will love it, in fact. So, okay, not satisfied, put something else. Don't put tomatoes, okay? Put everything else. So, like that, you keep on just adding. This is called dampa. Just manufacture stuff also along the way. Okay, dampa. And so, investing. Investing in self-promotion. That's what Puja Swamiji says. Anyway, we've seen dambaha. So, mana. So, because we have to understand the difference between manitvam and dambitvam. Both seem similar. What is the difference, really speaking? Manitvam, legitimate accomplishments. I want you to respect me for my legitimate accomplishments. I'm not telling anything that I did not do. But Dambi, whole world is available for the Dambi. What happened? I called you 3 times yesterday. You're not there. No, Annamalai had called me. So he's in town. So something like that. You just need to say something. There is no proof, nothing. And so, oh really? Annamalai called you? Yeah, some strategy and all. Coimbatore, he's standing in Coimbatore, some winning strategy and all he wanted to discuss. Okay, I gave him half an hour. I gave him half an hour. And by the way, Annamalai is coming to Coimbatore today. So there's a plan for us to visit him. That's the truth, okay? Anyway, Darpaha. Next, Darpa. Pride. Pride. Garvaha. This means Garvam. How we use this word in our language? Garvaha. Haughtiness, arrogance. Something in excess. This Sankaracharya. Utsekaha. Same thing, Garvaha. Another word in Sanskrit is Utsekaha. Garvaha. Garvaha about what? Dhana, Swajanadi, Nimitta, Utsekaha. Dhanam, things I possess and I accomplished. And Swajanam also. Swajanam means, my Gotram. What lineage I came from. My ancestors, tradition, my great grandfather and all, what they did. That is called Darpaha. This is pride. Similar, a little, say, Manitvam, just oneself, but pride has no boundary. All right, that is Darpaha. Abhimanaha, very, very related. Abhimanaha. Again, similar to Manitvam. Manitvam. Acharya says, Atmani Pujyatva Bhavana. Manitvam. Manitvam only it is. I don't see any difference. Swamiji says, Darpaha is expressed arrogance, expressed pride. Abhimanaha is unexpressed pride. There, pride is there. I don't have to express it. I can control myself. But if I express it, it becomes darpaha. All right, so unexpressed pride, internally existing this haughtiness. All right, krodaha, anger. We've covered that. Parushyam Parushyam. Very interesting. This we have not seen before. Impoliteness, harshness, okay, rudeness, absence of manners. We say manners, watch your manners and all. Parents love to tell children, watch your manners. That manners is parushyam. Absence of manners is parushyam. All right. Ajnanam. Context is Devi Sampat, Asuri Sampat, values. So therefore, Ajnanam here does not refer to Atma Ajnana. Here it refers to Dharma Adharma Ajnana. Dharma Adharma Viveka, absence of that. So Dharma Dharma Aviveka. That is called Ajnanam here. Because entire 16th chapter also and 17th is going to be talking about this ethics and values and attitudes and morality and things like that. So Ajnanam has to refer to that context. Suddenly you can't bring in Atma Vidya here. Unless he says, oh, this is going to help you grasp the subject matter, Atma Vidya. That's all. Anyway, Ajnanam cha abhijatasya partha sampadam asurim. So that we've already looked at the meaning of that word. These are the things that you will see in a person who has asuri sampat. So if somebody asks you to give you a lecture on materialism, etc., how do you define materialism? People may not agree with what you say. It's a dangerous subject to talk because materialism means what? Suppose you go on talking about materialism. Man, you're also materialistic. You're also wearing material. Is this material or not? Shirt is a material. Eyeglasses are material or what? Shoes are material. Yeah, they're all material only. So you're also materialist. Like that, they can argue. So you have to be careful when you use this word. You have to be very careful. So, but Krishna is going to give us some ideas if you want to ever give that kind of a talk. So that way, these values are, we can perceive them, we can appreciate them in people. So, this is a good resource. Okay, translating this: pretension, arrogance, arrogance, vanity, harshness, and lack of viveka, discernment, lack of discernment. In brackets, you have to say dharma, dharma. Lack of discernment between dharma and adharma. Hyphen. These belong to a person who is born with asuri sampat. These belong to a person who is born with asuri sampat. Arjuna. Pretension, arrogance, vanity, harshness, and lack of discernment with respect to dharma and adharma. These belong to a person who is born with asuri sampat.
Krodha is not good.
Krodha is not there. One, two. Okay, Krodha, you can add anger in between. Correct. Krodha is missing. So you can say, put Krodha, anger, right in front of this harshness, between this vanity and harshness. You get anger. Okay, next. Daivi sampad vimokshaya
दैवी सम्पद्विमोक्षाय
nibandhaya surimata
निबन्धायासुरीमता
ma shucha sampadam daivim
मा शुचत्सम्पदं दैवीम्
abhijatosi pandava.
अभिजातोऽसि पाण्डव.
So he's here he's telling now that there are two types of wealth, namely Daivi Sampat and Asuri Sampat. Like that he could have said it earlier in Shloka number 1 itself, but that what could have been in number 1 is now in number 5. And he's explaining what this Sampat is. So, hey Pandava, hey Panduputra, hey Arjuna, Daivi Sampat Vimokshaya. Vimoksha and Moksha both mean the same. And so Daivi Sampat, why do I talk about it? It is not simply to get some awards and all that. It's meant for moksha. Moksha is the purushartha. Purushartha, we say there are 4 purusharthas, dharmartha, kama, moksha. But really there is only one purushartha, okay, which is called moksha. Everything else is supposed to serve that main goal of moksha. And so, vimokshaya, Daivi Sampat is meant for gaining moksha. And what is the other one? Nibandhaya Asuri Mata. So, Mata. Mata means it is known. It's well known. Well known. So, it's well known that this Asuri Sampat is for what? Nibandhaya. Is for Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam. In case you're interested, no, I love this place. I want to be born again. If you say something like that, I want to, then this Asuri Sampat is what gets us that. And so in Kathopanishad, we've seen Preyascha Manushya Metaha. 2 lifestyles, 2 types of journeys are there. One is Shreyo Margaha, another is Preyo Marga. So that is Daivi Sampat takes me to Shreyas and Asuri Sampat takes me to Preyas. That is the idea here. And somewhere Shankaracharya says in his comment, he does says Brahma Avagati he Purusharthaha, Brahma Sutra Bhashya. We were studying last week. Suddenly he brings this up. Brahma Avagati he Purusharthaha. Indeed, there is only one Purushartha, he says, which is Brahma Avagati, which is the knowledge of Brahma. And that's the only thing that will make me free. Because everything else doesn't seem to fulfill me. Problem is I don't know anything better. So I keep doing to the best of my ability. Dharmartha kama, dharmartha kama, dharmartha. So that is just by the way. So Nibandhaya, these are the 2 things. Now, Ma Shuchaha Sampadam. And in case Arjuna is a bit anxious, oh, what kind of sampad I have, right? Then Ma Shuchaha, Master, don't worry. Don't worry. You are Daivim abhijataha asi. Asi is you. You are indeed somebody who is born with Daivi Sampat. Like that, Krishna is reassuring Arjuna. And a very important point Savaji makes here. He says, to have this kind of a samskara, to be even able to appreciate this is such an important thing. It comes over many lifetimes. It's not just suddenly God felt that I should get it now and therefore gives me Devi something. It's not like one has to work on it, work over it. Because the other extreme is instant gratification. Instant gratification. I want it now. I want everything now. And so versus waiting for later, versus moksha, thinking about moksha. Huge shift. So you can make a note of this shloka number 6.45, 6.45. And there he says, Krishna says, Prayatnat yatamanastu, Prayatnat yatamanastu, yogi samshuddha kilpishaha, aneka janma samsiddhaha. Prayatnat, by making an effort only, yatamanaha, the one, for that person who makes an effort, that yogi, that person is called a yogi. Only a person who is making effort can be called a yogi. Samshuddha kilpishaha is constantly improving himself, herself, correct? And then aneka janma samsiddha. This kind of a growth happens over many lifetimes. And then tato yati param gatim. And after that, param gatim, mokshaya, moksham prapnoti ityarthaha. So, therefore, hey Arjuna, don't worry, you are a sattva pradhana purushaha. So you are one who has Daivi Sampat. You are a Guna Brahmana. So Brahmana. Guna means what? We have to go back to Brihadaranyaka Upanishad to know the definition of Brahmana. Although here in Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam, Arjuna had already said, Guna Karma Vibhagasha. Guna Karma Vibhagasha. So this moksha being such a thing, it's not something that you can get by doing any karma. Thank God, it's totally out of the world. And so you need all this setup. This entire setup is supposed to be useful to us, correct? And then to say, finally, you do all these things, and then what? You're free. That's it. You're free. Now you're free. I think it's just too good to even think about. So that Brahmana, who is a Brahmana? Gargi. Yajnavalkya is telling Gargi, hey Gargi, Adhyaya, Atmanam viditva asmat lokat kreti. Correct? One who departs the world having understood Atma, only that person can be called a Brahmana. So you are a Guna Brahmana, Arjuna. Here Guna Brahmana does not mean Jnani. It means the one who has these qualities. And character is what makes a difference, right? So let's translate this. So there is a big debate. See, there's a very popular singer, classical music singer, T.M. Krishna. All of you may know him. So he has been in the news for a long time for the wrong reasons. And now things have gone out of proportion. And things are shaking right now. And so the guy says things that he should not have said. And so a lot of debate. And so even I was tempted to go to Facebook. I put my share of thoughts there also. So I said, you know what I said? Hey, look, man, look, Academy. Finally, it is not our qualifications that matter. What we accomplished. Are we good in any art? Are we skillful? Did we construct this big tall tower? This doesn't matter. They're all needed. It's good. But finally, it's character that matters. Okay. Do you remember Ravana? Ravana was a musician. He was better than PM Krishna. Okay. He is a Samavedi also on top. This guy is only a musician. Ravana was a Samavedi also. And guess what? He had to be killed. Rama himself killed Ravana. So therefore, let's not get carried away. Finally, it's character that matters. You may be a Veda, Chaturvedi also. Still, so what? So what? Somebody can ask the question. So character that matters. So it's very interesting. Very interesting. So anyway, that Sampat. That is why the Sampat is important. Sampat, the word Sampat. That's very interesting. Sampat means Devi Sampat. One who has Devi Sampat. Sampati. All right. Let's translate the shloka number 5. It is known that Daivi Sampat leads to moksha, and Asuri Sampat leads to bondage. Asuri Sampat leads to bondage. O Arjuna, or rather, full stop, next sentence. O Arjuna, do not grieve. Arjuna, do not grieve. Semicolon. You are born with Daivi Sampat. Okay. It is known that Daivi Sampat leads to moksha and Asuri Sampat leads to bondage. Full stop. Arjuna, do not grieve. Semicolon. You are born with Daivi Sampat. Next shloka. द्वौ भूतसर्गौ लोकेऽस्मिन्
द्वौ भूतसर्गौ लोकेऽस्मिन्
दैव आसुर एव च
दैव आसुर एव च
दैवो विस्तरशः प्रोक्तः
दैवो विस्तरशः प्रोक्तः
आसुरं पार्थ मे शृणु
आसुरं पार्थ मे शृणु
Again, द्वौ भूतसर्गौ लोकेऽस्मिन्
द्वौ भूतसर्गौ लोकेऽस्मिन्
दैव आसुर एव च
दैव आसुर एव च
दैवो विस्तरशः प्रोक्तः
दैवो विस्तरशः प्रोक्तः
आसुरं पार्थ मे शृणु
आसुरं पार्थ मे शृणु
Hey Partha, listen to me, Partha Shrunu. Listen to me, Partha me Shrunu. What should you listen about? Dvau Bhuta Sargau Lokesmin. There are, in this Bhuta Sargau, it's the Sarga means creation, means world. Okay, Asmin Loke, in this world, there are 2 types of people. Bhuta Sarga, Asmin Loke. In this world, the world can be divided into 2 types. Not just India divided into 2 types of people. No, the entire world of people. Okay. Dvau, Bhuta Sargau. Okay. What are those? Daivaha and Asuraha. So Daivas, he's using, instead of saying Deva, he's saying Daiva. So people who are spiritually oriented, want to use an English word for that. People who are Asuras. Asuras. Asuraha. Asuraha eva asuraha. It's people who are not spiritual. People who are arthakama dharma oriented. Even dharma also will come under that one. Get that, correct? Dharma also will come under this asura category only. Why? Because it will not take me anywhere. It will keep me where I am. It will keep me. Dharma can be good because it can lead me to moksha. It can lead me to moksha. The more dharmic I am, it will take me towards moksha. But little bit of dharma periodically, when it is convenient to me, dharma is useful. So therefore, shreyo margaha, preyo margaha. So these are the two types of people who take two types of paths. Okay. Then what? Daivo vistarashaha proktaha. I've already told you clearly. Proktaha. Uktaha. He doesn't say uktaha. He says prakarshena uktaha. I've told you clearly what Daiva is, what Devi Sampat is. Okay, I've already elaborated. From 16.1, Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhihi onwards, I've told you that till the third shloka, Tejaha, Kshama, etc. And so, Bhau Bhuta Sargau Lokesmin, Daivo Vistarashaha Proktaha, Asuram Partha Meshrunu. Now listen to this Asuri Sampat. I've given you a little bit of what Asuri Sampat is, Dambo, etc., Dambaha, Darpaha, and all. I told you. It's just an entry point. Then Vistarashaha. I'm going to tell you. Okay, there Vistarashaha refers to Daivi Sampat. But now listen to me. Listen to me. Very interesting. All this, the way Krishna is putting it. And he's giving so many shlokas. Not 5, not 10, not almost 15 shlokas he's going to talk about Asuri Sampat. I think it's because sometimes we don't know whether we don't know what's the right thing to do sometimes. Sometimes we don't know if a particular attribute is right or wrong and whether I should also be like that person. Sometimes we ask the question, is that the way I should be also? Question comes because it's easy to get things done if you're pushy. Pushy people will get things done. They'll lead a happy life, no problems. But you got to pushy, bribing this, that, karo, and then you get all things done. And maybe I should also be like that. So maybe that's why all these things Krishna is repeatedly saying. So let's translate this shloka also. In this world, there are two types of created beings. Literal translation. In this world, there are two types of created beings. Or beings who are created. The Daiva and the Asura. Asura. The Daiva and Asura. The Daiva has been elaborately spoken of. And you can bring in the Amanitvadi from the 13th chapter also. There is also Daivi. So elaborately spoken of. Listen, next sentence. Listen to me, Partha, about the characteristics belonging to the Asuras. Listen to me, Partha, Arjuna, about the characteristics belonging to the Asuras. Okay. In this world, there are two types of created beings, the Daivas and the Asuras. Asuras, sorry. The Daiva has been elaborately spoken of. Listen to me, Partha, about the characteristics belonging to the asura. Okay, let's chant the next shloka. Then conclude. प्रवृत्तिञ्च निवृत्तिञ्च
प्रवृत्तिं च निवृत्तिं च
जना न विदुरासुराः
जना न विदुरासुराः
न शौचं नापि चाचारः
न शौचं नापि चाचारः
न सत्यं तेषु विद्यते
न सत्यं तेषु विद्यते
प्रवृत्तिञ्च निवृत्तिञ्च
प्रवृत्तिं च निवृत्तिं च
जना न विदुरासुराः
जना न विदुरासुराः
न शौचं नापि चाचारः
न शौचं नापि चाचारः
न सत्यं तेषु विद्यते.
न सत्यं तेषु विद्यते
Yeah, we'll continue next class. ॐ आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां सर्वसम्पदा दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम् ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ